So let's talk about Democrats' fishing expedition. You may have heard about the most recent one, which is Jerry Nadler, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, has issued a order for 80 people to come to testify in his congressional committee. Now, the purpose of that is to get some criminal evidence against Trump so he can be impeached. So let's go over this from the beginning and what is the constitutional authorization to issue warrants or subpoenas to people. You got to look at the Fourth Amendment. Now, I recommend reading that Fourth Amendment because the Founding Fathers were very clear and eloquent about what they were trying to achieve and how they would achieve it. That amendment says that the people will be secure in their houses and their things and their businesses. They don't say businesses, but it applies to businesses as well. In their home, in their persons. And how they're going to achieve that end is by the rest of this Fourth Amendment, which says that there will be no unreasonable searches and seizures. And it doesn't stop there. It explains exactly what the government has to do. They need a warrant. And that warrant has to be based on probable cause that a crime was committed. Now, there is no crime that Donald Trump they say he has committed. They don't have any evidence. They don't have any evidence that any of these 80 people committed any crime, or there is no probable cause or evidence against any of them. That's why they call it a fishing expedition. But nobody explains what's wrong with fishing expeditions, and I'm going to do that in this video. So the amendment doesn't stop there. It says, if you want to issue this warrant, you have to have an affirmation or testimony under oath by somebody who claims a crime, and what is the evidence specifically that they intend to obtain. None of these things are done in this Jerry Nadler's commission, subpoenaing all these people, forcing them to come under subpoena to the Congress to testify, nor did they do that in the counterintelligence investigation that they started against Trump and against Carter Page. It's the same thing. That was a fishing expedition. And so now you know what's wrong with fishing expeditions. They violate the Constitution, and specifically the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which says you can't do that. And there's a reason for it. Let's explain a little bit more in detail the reasoning. If the government can investigate anybody they want without any probable cause, without any warrant, without any specific knowledge of commission of a crime, and knowledge of any evidence that they intend to obtain, well then all the citizens are at risk. They can't be secure in their houses and their person. Why? Because anybody that the government doesn't like, or some officials in the government, they can be investigated, and they can be subpoenaed, and they can be searched. They can go into their homes and search everything they want, see if they find something. Even if they don't ever find anything, they can ruin somebody economically. So they have to defend themselves against all this intrusion by the government. And like many people under the Trump investigation, they get wiped out because their legal fees are so high that they're destroyed. unless they're rich, maybe they can afford it. So this is why fishing expeditions are illegal. You cannot have the citizenry of the country under threat. Everyone is intimidated. So if you say something that the government doesn't like, well, they can investigate you. And baby, Trump has said a lot of things that these people don't like. So he's a prime candidate to be investigated. And I think the right word is persecuted. He's being persecuted because they don't like what he says. And so they're trying to take him down. And that's in direct conflict with the Fourth Amendment, which I'm sad to say, apparently, the American people don't know anything about the Fourth Amendment, and especially the millennials, because they don't teach the Constitution. They don't teach the Federalist Papers. They don't teach these things in school. In fact, they teach exactly the opposite. They teach how great socialism is. Anyway, I thought that this required some clarification and explanation. So if you have a country where everybody is exposed to investigation without any warrant, without any probable cause, without any specific affirmation or under oath statement by somebody that has to be responsible, if you make this under oath statement that somebody has committed a crime, and there's this evidence that the government can find if they just go in there with a warrant and get it, then the person who made the affirmation, made the accusation under oath, is liable. And people won't do that lightly, especially if they expect to get prosecuted by committing perjury, which is one of the problems with our judiciary system. People aren't hardly ever and very selectively prosecuted for perjury, and that's why it doesn't really work as well as it should. So out with the fishing expeditions, no more fishing expeditions, and permitting fishing expeditions destroys your country's individuals' freedom. And what does it say in the amendment? They have a right to be secure. They cannot be intimidated and under threat for no effing reason. Thank you.